Well, I'm joined by Dr. Gianluca Pescaroli, Associate Professor in Disaster Resilience at University College London. Thank you for joining us. What do you attribute the damage that we're seeing here in Europe and indeed across Myanmar? Obviously, climate change behind it, but could more be done to protect people?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. So we see that there are different dimensions in how these events unfold. One is the dimension of hazard. The other one is the dimension of vulnerability. So in terms of hazard, we are seeing compared to before a different level or a different pattern of recombination. And we see that to some extent in both events. We see, for example, that the low probability impact determinants that, for example, there were in the flood in Europe, certain particular weather conditions, or the interdependencies between what is happening in Myanmar, like flood causing mudslides, are becoming the norm, are becoming something we need to consider on the hazard dimension. So the way the climate is impacting the hazard is recombining them together. So what we perceive as low probability is becoming something different. It's like giving us a new recombination, something that we need to consider in the planning process. On the other dimension, we see between these events in completely different contexts that there are some common vulnerabilities, or what we call in some of my projects like AGILE or Isamutiaza, this common point of failure on which we need to prepare. So this common vulnerability includes the vulnerability of critical infrastructure, that when it's disrupted affects the recovery efforts and affects everything in society, from the capacity later on of enterprises and the private sector to recover, and the capacity of deal with effective evacuation and effective delivery.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. We're looking obviously at established places where people live and where people work. So what should governments and communities be doing now urgently to give themselves more resilience to these hugely changing weather patterns that we're seeing all over the world?
Thank you for this question. Look, this is very critical. We need to move. We were used to think all this as medium term. This is not medium term. This is happening now. So we need to proceed in different ways. And some of that are actually starting to be activated. One, we need to understand how to integrate better technology within an organization. So not just the technical part, but how to have procedures over which follows action. For example, we have a warning how this is going to be part of business continuity and organizational resilience. For example, the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction is going to release soon some universal KPIs to support the private sector on this. Other elements that we need to consider is new tools that start from the very basic exercise, like tabletop exercise done by local authorities, national authorities, such as stress testing. Where are these common points of failure? Okay. So consider also the role of creativity in foreseeing the events that are going to come.
Okay.